Hi, it's Non Gone, and today we're playing Sackboy: A Big Adventure on the PS5. Today's going to be a Stay Bad video. This is for how to get the String It Together trophy for completing the Ripsnorter with a time of under 10 minutes. So I'm just going to let my actual run play in the background. This is what I like to call a clockwork challenge. It's basically all the elements get set in motion and they run on a cycle, so everything's a pattern. That means if you do exactly the same thing in this video, you will get exactly the same results that I did. So you could really just mute this and not listen to me if you don't want to. But I'm going to give you a little background and kind of point out some things as we go. The first thing we're going to do here, before I even talk about what the Ripsnorter is we're going to die immediately. Because of the clockwork, meaning the puzzle has already been set in motion, the first time you do it, it's got that stupid 3, 2, 1 countdown, and that will throw off your pattern. So the subsequent runs will all be exactly the same. All these rolly guys will be in the same spot as you make these jumps. So, and that will continue throughout the whole thing. Now, the Ripsnorter itself, the way you unlock it, and the reason there's a Stay Bad video for it, is the Knitted Night Trials are unlocked by doing this finding the little gold cubes as you go through the levels in this game. They'll unlock a challenge. It's timed. If you get at least bronze in all 15 of those, it will unlock this one, which is basically all 15 of those challenges strung together, hence the name String It Together for the trophy. So that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. Conventional wisdom would suggest that you get good at this, and if you look at the time, that would even confirm that. The gold times for all these added up are 10 minutes and 5 seconds, and in order to get this trophy, you have to do the whole thing in under 10 minutes. So you'd think you'd have to be that much better. There is one level, though, where if you do it individually, it adds to your time, but if you do it in the Ripsnorter, it takes away from your time, and as a result, you're going to probably finish with at least a minute or two to spare, as long as you don't die. Now, the standard plan for this is to get good and, learn all these levels. And the advice that I've seen on the internet, which to me is counterintuitive, is to practice each level individually until you get gold times comfortably and then string it together. Again, string it together. I found, and I do not advise that you do that, and there's two reasons. Number one, as I mentioned, it's a clockwork puzzle, and if you do each of those levels, the pattern will be in a different spot than when you start on this one, because you start at a gate for each of these when you do it individually, but you start as the screen comes up for the Ripsnorter, and as a result, each of the elements are about 2 seconds ahead, because the motion starts as you arrive on the screen, if that makes any sense. So hopefully that's understandable. So that's one reason why doing individual stages is not the best. The second reason is that the gold times are a lot tighter than you need to be for the Ripsnorter, and as a result, to get gold on each individual stage, you have to take a lot more chances. You can do a much safer route on the Ripsnorter and memorize that instead. As you see, I'm not taking advantage of all of the jumps that are available. I'm just taking advantage of the ones that I'm comfortable with. What I will suggest from a get good standpoint is that you at least learn to do the jump, dive, roll like this, and that you also get comfortable just mashing circle, because rolling is much faster than just walking in this game. So just keep that in mind. If you really, really want to stay bad, there was a exploit where you could jump, roll, or dive and pause and restart the level, and it would reset your time to 0. That was only available in version 1.01 though, so the odds that you have that version are probably pretty slim. So we'll just move on. But you can do this co-op, which is to beg or pay or whatever you got to do, have somebody do this for you, and then you invite you into the session right before the finish line. That does count. It does work for the trophy. You're welcome to request help in the comments of this video. I will not be joining you because, as I mentioned before, I am not good at this. This took me a couple hours, and then when I went to do the video, it took me a couple more hours. So you're going to want to find somebody who got good at this if you want to do it that way. So I was able to get pretty far along through, I think, the end of this before I really started running into parts where I was dying a lot, and that was the crab level. I've seen on the internet that that's a level that a lot of people have had trouble with, so I'm going to talk more specifically about the level starting in that. But yeah, we're already 6 of the 15 challenges done almost, so you see I jump here and then wait just a second, and again, you do this over and over, you'll start to memorize it. Okay, some tips about the crab level now that we're here. First, make sure you enter at the same point on the pattern every time. Second of all, you can jump over the holes as long as you come back down on them. Third, you can jump over the crabs. It's hard to see with the angle that's here, but you can jump over them. So you see I'm cutting corners and kind of doing both of them. They walk about as fast as you, but they just take up so much space. It's really easy to die. And of course, you know, you only get one life on this. But as you can see the pattern, I like to wait right here, and that's my first split time. As long as I'm there like around 4 minutes, I'm pretty happy with that. This one you can kind of walk left and then jump up through the concentric circles and not have to even touch any crabs. So again, it's all the clockwork. As long as that one crab is moving left, when you jump over there, the whole rest of the level should unfold properly. And now we're onto these moving platforms, and I'll remind you that the circle area in this is not, the floor is not moving, just the absent part, which means if you're on those little purple things that are over the abyss, you will have to keep moving or else they'll go right out from under you. It's just lights moving under your feet. They're not actual platforms. So I don't know if that helps. I know Mimigon had the worst time with that level, and I've never had any problem with it. And I think that's why, because our brains are processing that visual differently. We're up to the spikes, and the only advice I can give you here is that they move a lot faster than you think they do, which means you want to spend a much more time in the air than you think you need to. You'll see I'm jumping almost constantly because it's a lot easier to adjust my jump than it is to stand there and get whacked by a spike. So that's pretty much all I've got for that one, and we're almost done anyway. So we're going to just pop through these last ones. This one's coming down and then up and then down. And now we're on to number, shoot, what is that? 11, 10, something like that. So we're already like doing really good, 5.5 minutes. Now this one is pretty easy. You can roll and avoid most of the stuff. The last little area gets kind of tricky. But for the most part, as long as you come in the right pattern and jump over everything, I like to wait just a second to make sure those ones that are going vertical are higher than my jump will be. At this point, you're in no rush. If you're here at 5 or 6 minutes, you're totally fine. Again, remember, even if you come into the last level at over 10 minutes, your time will be reduced because there's so many clocks on it. The last one, so like by almost a minute. So we're coming up on the level that wrecks me every time, and is the reason I made this video. You'll see me jump counter to the rotation of these little platforms, and that's usually a pretty safe thing. But this is where I learned. I kept dying and dying and dying, and so I learned how to do it on the individual menu, and then found that the pattern's different and you have to do completely different things anyway. That's why I don't recommend doing that unless you're really, really struggling with one. These are still some tricky jumps, even though they're quite a bit safer than the gold time route. And again, you'll see I'll be going right here and jumping around these. So however you want to do it is fine. You do have enough time to just ride the platform all the way around if you want to be even safer. But by this point, I felt pretty comfortable. Now here you'll see me do something completely incomprehensible. Have no idea why I did it, but this was like 2 hours in, and I finally decided to just. Why did I do that? I don't know. So you're going to get a jump cut because I kept dying a lot and my computer is running out of space. So we'll just go to the spot where I did make it to here and completed it from there. So sorry about the jump cut. You'll see a couple of seconds difference, but not that much. At this point, I do suggest you just roll. This is not all that hard of a level, but try to jump where they are if you're jumping, and then they'll be out of your way by the time you get there, unless you do something really stupid like that. Somehow I managed to save it though, and that's kind of what you're gonna have to do, I think, at some point. So hopefully the visual is a little better than the commentary. Again, doing specific things would just take longer to explain than it would just to watch. So if you really hate my voice, you can always mute it and just go from there. Again, we're gonna get to this spot and be able to jump immediately just because the pattern is the same all the time. And then from here, again, I've just memorized you can jump right up on top here and save you a little bit of drama. But at this point, the cautious route is definitely the best. You know, by this point, if I get through the tree level, my hands are shaking, my palms are sweaty, because I know I got an actual run. It might actually work. So, you know, we're up to the second to last one now, and I know if you roll, you could get through there in 2. And again, just try to follow through. This one is really not as bad as it looks once you learn where the flames are going to come up. So you can just kind of go there and jump across, and don't be afraid to jump out over the abyss. But again, I'm very, very cautious in this run because I know how to avoid it. I know how to do it without pattern recognition, and I do not, under any circumstances, want to run all 14 of these again. So we're just going to keep on rolling through here, and we'll come to the last level here momentarily. It'll only take a second. So this is the last of the Ripsnorter levels, and you see I've already come in at 9 minutes, and our time will be even slower than that, so, or will be even less than that, because of all these little watches that come up. You see we're already down to 9 minutes, and just whatever you do, don't fall in the hole. Take your time. You got all kinds of time. There's literally piles of time laying here for you to get at this point. So the biggest thing, of course, is the depth perception on these like middle jumps. The only advice I can give you again is look for your shadow. But honestly, if you're this far into a Ripsnorter challenge, you've played this game enough to know how to not fall into the hole when you jump going across on this weird like 45-degree angle thing. So that's pretty much all I got. I know it's not that great from a commentary perspective, but again, I'm not that good at this. I've just learned the patterns and learned how to get where I had to go, and practiced a few of the levels that I was really struggling on, and I hope that you can do the same. Again, if you have any suggestions for other Stay Bad things, anything that's really giving you trouble and you want me to kind of make it easier, I suggest you do it. Leave it in the comments and I might take you up on it. I'm going to go and do some speed platinum runs right now, and I got a couple other live action things I'm going to do. But thanks again for watching. In the meantime, stay bad, people. I'll see you on the next video. Non-gone is gone.